Speaking of Aniocha North, which is peculiar in its brand of politics, you are someone who is disposed to developmental politics. How would you describe the evolution of politics in Aniocha North?
Yeah, I think I'll go first and foremost by saying Aniocha North are peaceful and lovable people. From the 17 communities that made up Aniocha North, we have individuals in virtually all the field of endeavor around the world from here. They have written Aniocha name in the map of the world, both from the banking sector, the petroleum industry. Just mention anyone you can talk of from the academic field. Aniocha North have really grown a lot of men and women of caliber. From the military circle, we are not ruled out. It was in history that one man, General Paul Dike, was one time chief of defense staff from this community, Seluku. We have General John Nani from Onicholona. We have Major General Lawrence Fijok from Onicho, and a host of others. So we are blessed and endowed with whatever you can think of in other communities. Fleet of professors here and there. So I'm happy and glad to be from this local government. Let me come now down to the political evolution in this local government. Yeah, you cannot still rule out that a man that has plenty children always is endowed with crisis too. Aniocha North is one of the most politically aware local government, not just in Delta State, but in Nigeria. So by so doing, we are bound to have conflicts of ideas. We are bound to have people from different backgrounds and with different political ideology. And they are bound to maintain different channels to power. But one thing is sacrosanct. I feel and believe that all of them are working towards developing this local government for different platforms. So from my own, as a person, I joined politics at a very tender age, via my brother and uncle late, Chief T.U. Akpapuna, during the days of the SDP and NLC. Then we come up to the area of Zero Party. That was during the Abacha time. I was a delegate from Odiani. That's Odiani then was one ward. And in 1996 to 1998, still Abacha era, we have 5 registered political party. I was the youth leader of CNC then in Aniocha North. And come to this present republic, a strong member of PDP, a grassroots mobilizer, and there are only 2 who've contributed our part to the growth of the party in this local government. So on the issue of development through politics, I think that's everybody's drive when joining politics. And that's been our projection, that has been our pursuit, that has been our drive. And coming to the local government as a council, I've been there for about 7 years. I've served chairman, still serving a chairman today. From my own innermost belief and conviction, as you can see what is going on in Seluku today, that have been the passion of virtually all chairmanship or chairmen that have lead this local government. Just service delivery. You can blame some, they served well. You can blame some, they didn't serve well. There's sometimes where you are an insider, there are some constraints. And that constraint is finance. Yes, there are bound to be crises within the political gladiators. It is normal in politics. It's not like a family. you have more than one child, 2, 3, or 4 children, there's bound to be crisis. But your ability to manage them is the man in you. And I've seen Aniocha North, we have leaders, Diokpa, Chief BSA Lue, Aguayi, and Chief Ebo, and host of others. We thank them very well because they have been able to hold this local government for a very long time. And they have done well. And even this stage we are today, we've seen their own drive, wanting the younger ones to now come on board, while they sit at the background to supervise. That's, if you see this past election, if National Assembly, presidential, senatorial election, is governor and houses, is purely responsibility of the youth. While they were in their houses, have been directing us on the best approach for us to come out in a flying color. And you see at the end of the election, I would say yes, we've done noble. Like the governor and the House Assembly, it was perfect. As you can see, nobody in Aniocha North that ran for the House Assembly that is in tribunal, because the PDP won free and fair. So other elections. So I think they have played their part and they are doing their best. And we pray God to keep them alive because we need their fatherly advice.
Nonetheless, in Aniocha North, we've seen instances of show of strength, constellation of political heavyweights, and clashes among these political gladiators. It is said that when elephants fight, the grass suffers. Do you think Aniocha North is where it's supposed to be politically and developmentally?
Well, I wouldn't understand what you mean where we are supposed to be. Growth is a continuous something. There's no limited to growth. It's everyday things. As I said, even both of us are here. We are not from the same background. But we are meant to be in a ship. We are bound to clash. But our ability to manage our crisis is what I've seen that have been leading us in Aniocha North. Everybody that are gladiators in Aniocha North are sons and daughters of Aniocha North. Nobody's a stranger. So, if you are a civil servant and you retired, you feel like joining politics, fine and good. If you have been out there, maybe in Lagos, Abuja, you felt, I want to come close to my people, I want to serve them, fine and good. But there's one thing I always want to assure everybody. We believe in ourselves. It's just from different perspectives. We believe in ourselves. Aniocha not believe in themselves, but it's from different background. Some people came, they want to build. This one come, I want to cultivate. Or it's Aniocha not. But our approach are different. That's why sometimes we have crisis. And when we talk of a position, party has a tradition. You understand me? Party has its tradition. Even when you go to the Christian or the churches, they have tradition of doing their things. Sometimes people want to force things to change by force. It is not always easy. For example, party has constitution. How do a candidate emerge? They emerge one through primaries. The primary can be direct or indirect. Consensus is not rolled out. It's just like an agreement. But one thing I want to assure you too is that when they say let us agree, if you are 20, agree me that 20 can never agree. But when you have the sizable number of persons like 14, 15 that agree, majority will always have their way. Then minority will have their say. So at that junction, some people are bound to protest. But the game of democracy is all about people. It's all about majority. And when majority always have their say, there's bound to be protests. But at a point too, the leadership of the party can only set a machinery into motion to bring back aggrieved members. But the only issue that we are not really disposed to is politics of fighting, killing. We've not been known for that in Aniocha North.
You have worked with most local government chairmen. You're working with Right Honorable Kevin Okwechime, the current chairman of the local government. Aniocha North have been in the news for so many reasons, among which is the series of impassable roads. We've seen influx of earth-moving construction equipment. We've seen rehabilitation of roads here and there. The apostle is here, water is here. What seems to be happening in Aniocha North?
Yes, I remember, I think that before the election hearing, there were a lot of bickering. Yes, we are bound to complain when the need arises. That time, most of our roads are impassable. But there's one thing we sometimes we fail to know. every government has their responsibility or role in an area. For example, virtually all the roads in Aniocha North are state roads, and the sole responsibility of the local state government to embark on either road reconstruction or rehabilitation. As at that time, I complained. I won't deny that fact because I think I couldn't get to my villages at that time. But sometimes when we get to that point, what we can always use to achieve that problem as at that time is unity, cooperation, and not by fighting those that are in authority. The other way around, you are bound to criticize them positively, that's constructively, engage them. Before you criticize, you engage them. Maybe having one-on-one with them to discuss, this road is impassable. How do we rehabilitate it at least to a certain stage where people can be passing it? Maybe after that you exhaust it and they were not coming, then you go into your protest against them, but it must be constructive, not because you have personal hatred for a particular person. I was once asked to Right Honorable Melu. Most of us approaching where that road was wrong or was bad, and he briefed us so far what he has in mind. As I approached various agencies to come and, put a palliative measure, I has reached out to the governor and even told us the name of the contractor that road was awarded to, and even called the young man to his house to say, please, my people cannot go get to their place. But as at that point, people have started complaining. Nothing you tell them, but they will agree. They say, no, this you are doing or saying is politics. But because I am close to most of them, I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you the facts. You see, in Nigerian government leadership today, you can't get anything by force. You get most things by negotiation, discussion, and appeal. So most of our approach sometimes is like fighting, but that fight is around our own age bracket, used for exorbitance. That's why I just take that one to be. Most of them has point. Most of them has point, but presentations were wrong. And if you look at it, maybe I have differences with a particular person. Nothing that person does that I always like. You understand me? Most of these we have done one or two things in various communities that we must commend. But because one have not been done, we forget those ones they have done. Nobody is righteous, nobody is a right man anyway. We have our flaws as a person. But sometimes look at what the person have done. Encourage him so that he can do more. That's my own take about that area. On the issue of the local government, yes, it is not the responsibility of the local government, but we are chairman, but we are the one using the road. Sheriff is not living in Iseluku. Most of the government functionaries are not living in Iseluku. But whatever people see here, they say the government are not working. And the government they see is the local government, which is the nearness to the people. So embarking on this, I felt it's a huge relief to our people. As of last week, this particular spot we had today was impassable. But thank God today, with the cooperation of the host community, which is Iseluku, some leaders, some group of young boys coming from one corner or the other to assist, controlling traffic. You can see that the asphalt lane is going on simultaneously. And I hope by special grace of God and with availability of funds, we extend it to other communities. Today, you go to Onichugbo, it's happening there, the same road rehabilitation. The Dumujuno bypass via NYC road, they are there working. And this from the Reno to the junction is ongoing. And I think you go to the Olona junction, that one is still ongoing. And I feel and believe that it will be a continuous process as I will have the resources to carry it out.
I'm going to resist ambushing you, but I'm not going to let you into the escape route without hearing from you about Right Honorable Kevin Okwechime. Having walked this close to him, how will you describe his person and his politics?
Kevin is a young gentleman. I think from the entire local government, nobody can hold anything against him in terms of disrespect. He's somebody that when you call, he answer at all times. No leader in this local government say no. This man is arrogant. No, I hold that for him. He was a leader of that legislative, and I will tell you, In history, he was the only person that have led Aniocha North local government election for straight 3 years without impeachment. And as a sitting local government chairman today, he's doing his possible best. And he's reaching out to our leaders. He played pivotal role in this just past election. And I will go by extension, there are most communities today that his impact are being felt. There are many ongoing projects. It is now we are trying to a kind of coming to media to advertise what we are doing. But there are projects going that people are not even aware. We just finished from feasibility study for a water project in Onicholo, Idumogo and Onichubo. And they pick up the Onichubo waiting for the contractor by Thursday to resume that of Idumogo. And most things like that are ongoing today. Funds were disbursed for rehabilitation of Ogodo, maternity or hospital, that's their maternity, today through the councillor and the what's they call the president general. Because of the terrain of that area, that place is not accessible. So we have a kind of discussion with the community, and they brought us the bill, the contract, everything. And as I speak with you, by Friday, they'll start the rehabilitation of the hospital. Funds have been released today. And if you enter inside the council premises too, jobs are going on. The planting of keps and maybe landscaping of the council premises is ongoing gradually there too. And I think there is no road in Aniocha North today that we can say that the road is impassable because of the machine we have. We have our bulldozer, we have our graders there, always ready to work to open the existing road that are impassable. And on his person, I feel and believe he's putting much into the growth of this local government. And we still plead and beg, we need the cooperation of everybody. Even if we cannot meet up most of those things now, there's still another opportunity of even coming up again to say, my people, let me go back and complete what I've started. So I think he deserves it. We have said that president already. His predecessor was there. That's my former boss, Rebel Chuksoseme. He's there for 6 years. I have played his own role and part. And I felt and believe when time comes to, our people will look into it and check his antecedent as a person, what they have done, what they have achieved. And I think our people too will look and say, no, go back and complete what you started. So he's doing well.
Well, that said, let me take you on the construction equipment. What informed the decision to go for construction equipment, considering the paucity of funds, among other things crying for attention in the local government?
I will say, leadership governance is a teamwork. I was a supervisor for environment here for 6 years before now. I know what it costs us to get a payloader to come and work for us, particularly to clear the dump site at PBGS, opposite PBGS. The market, to clear the dump at the market and all of that dump site within the local government. When you put the cost together for a year or two, approximately you are approaching buying your own payloader. So when we come on board, we look at it and say, God, if we can get funds, because of some administration, there was no money. Like most of us that serve under him, our salary for the first tenure we collected in our second tenure. So I don't blame him, he didn't act, there was no funds. And we pray and God really answered us. And so even from the little we were having, we were able to put our heads together, acquire those two equipment. We procure a borrow pit along Idumujuna Road and a truck that will be using to dispose waste. And even we have a lot of things in plan. If we can get some tippers, get a bulldozer to add to what we have, that can form a full construction company as time goes on. So those are our thinking, those are our belief. If we can get some expatriate to add to the equipment we have, we can take up jobs from the state government and say, look, this is our place. We can do this job to the standard and the taste of our people. So those are most of the things we have in our dreams. And by God's way, we pray it will come to pass.
On a lighter note, Mr. Kaikene, what comes to your mind when you think politics?
Where it's a game that most of us enjoy. I love it. I love to do the game, to play politics. You know, in the basic government, you say politics is where people can exercise and obtain governmental power satisfactorily. You understand? That's the definition of politics. If we look at politics in Nigeria today, it's always a torturous journey for beginners. Most of us that joined earlier, it was never rosy. We struggle to be involved. We struggle to be remembered. You know, our reward system is very poor. In Nigeria, say, not just Aniocha North, so we don't blame them. But I feel this is an avenue for most of us to come, show what we can do for our people, show that desire and the passion, the burning desire in our hearts towards the development of our people. No individual can use his personal wealth to develop a local government. Even when you have it, you might not be willing to expend it. You might limit it to your immediate constituency, that's your village. But through politics and governance, or good governance, you can reach your people, amenities-wise. I would want to take my village, for example. As at 9 years ago, when it is raining, you can't go to my village. That doesn't mean we doesn't have rich people, but it's cost-effective, very capital-intensive to say, I want to be back on kind of road. We know what it costs the state government to tear that hill to where it is today. And we know too what it costs the World Bank assisted project with Delta State government through their counterpart funding to do other area in their communities. One individual cannot do it. But all these things we were able to achieve it because of government, or through government, or because of our involvement in government. So it's a very good game that we encourage everybody to imbibe, but we only advise you play by each rule. Don't go there to pull your brothers or your sisters down. Don't pull your friends down. Play your own role. Do it the best way you can. At the appointed time, everybody have his own time in this game. My own time might not be your own time. But what matters most is consistency, honesty, and commitment. That's the watchword in the game.
Looking down the road, do you think Aniocha North have a place up there?
Very, very well. A very large place. You look at, from the inception of democracy in 1990, we have not been left behind. In 1999 to 2007, we have the deputy governor from this local government. We have commissioners, special advisors. We have secretaries of federal boards from this place like Professor Moye. We have not been left behind. In Ostrata, both PDP, both APC. We have ministers from here in the APC administration. Today, we have the chairman of NDDC from this local government. Today, we have a director from this local in Nimasa. So, Aniocha North are blessed. And we have men that matters. We are involved in all sectors, local, state, and federal government. We are not left out.
A warm and candid conversation we just had. Immeasurable thanks to you, Mr. Kaikene, for your time.
Thank you, my brother.